This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is David Warnocky, and as always, I'm here with Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart.
G'day, dickheads.
Oh, hello.
G'day, friends.
Oh, okay.
And confidants.
Colleagues?
Don't ever
No.
confidant in me.
Okay, I will try not to.
I
it's
am
so
a
good
notorious snitch.
Well, I know that, and that's why I tell you fake secrets, and then I find out when you tweet them. It's all a big ruse.
Wow.
You find out?
Everyone that follows you knows about the ruse, and every time you tweet them, you're busted.
Oh, you rused me.
You also, Jess, you accidentally always tag Matt in those tweets too, which kind of gives you away. Kind of.
I say someone, not saying who, at Matt Stewart. How are you guys? Are you well?
Yeah, pretty good. Loving the sunshine. Saints are in the finals, and for the first time since 2011. This is the first time the Saints have played finals since we've been doing this podcast.
That's crazy.
That's a weird thought. Yeah, cool.
So they've played as many finals as I have since we've started this podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Dave really sidelined his footy career for us, and, you know, we'll always be indebted to him for that.
Yeah, you
Thanks so
are
much, Dave.
welcome. I was going to win the Norm Smith, whatever that is. So
Yeah, what position did you play, Dave?
full Norm.
Full Norm. Wow, that's why
Never
you're
go
going to win the
full
Norm
norm.
Smith.
They put me up there. I'm one of the normiest players I've ever seen.
Watch
Yeah,
me,
you're
watch
full
me, Norm.
Normcore.
I'm full Normcore, yeah.
You are the Norm Smith medal is the best player on the ground in the grand final. So that was a good one to win.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good
But
one.
you gave that up for us, and we really appreciate it. To do this podcast that works like this, one of the three of us goes away and researches a topic for the week, and we write a report about it after really getting involved in all the nooks and crannies and the intricacies of this topic that has been usually suggested by listeners or a listener, and then we come back and tell everything we've learnt back to the other two in the form of a report, while the other two patiently, quietly, and respectfully listen along.
I'm not going to say anything until the end of the report, so there'll be an hour of silence from me. Even if the report
Okay.
goes for 45 minutes, I will stay silent for that full hour.
Hey, Dave, I don't know why you're saying that. That's what you do every week, so it's not really noteworthy.
I'm explaining how it works to the newcomer.
Oh, the new listeners, fair enough. And this week, Jess is doing the report, so Dave will be sitting quietly next to me
Oh, no.
while Jess tells us about something. And to get us onto that topic, she's going to ask a question now. What's the question this week, Jess Perkins?
The question is, who makes you feel like a natural woman?
Oh, Helen Reddy. No.
Helen, no. That was I Am Woman.
Oh, no, a different woman song. As
Yes.
the feminist of the podcast, I really should have got that one.
Dave?
Oh, my goodness. This is from Carole King.
Oh, yes. Co-written by Carole King, most famously performed by...
I thought it was Carole King from Tapestry. Am I wrong?
This deserves a little bit more respect.
Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, well done. Yes, Carole King wrote it. Oh, maybe not most famously performed by Aretha Franklin, but very famously
You're right.
performed
She's
by Aretha.
very, very famous.
Yeah,
She is very famous.
So you both have
You're
heard
right
of
there.
Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a little RESPECT for her work.
And I would assume that the majority of our listeners have also heard of Aretha Franklin. However, she has not been suggested once in the hat. We have over
kidding.
6,000 suggestions. She comes up twice when I search for her in the hat, and that is only in reference to other performers. So people say,
Interesting.
they worked with Aretha Franklin as well at times. And it's like, And you didn't think to suggest Aretha Franklin?
Oh, my goodness. People at home really got to take a good long look at themselves on this one.
Well, luckily,
I put her up for the vote, and she was just pipped by Chuck Berry a couple of months ago.
oh, cool.
So I assumed she was in the hat. So I obviously also had the same thought. But yeah, that's cool. And she's sort of related to a previous topic we did, or you did, with John Belushi, because they starred in Blues Brothers together.
Yeah, that's right.
That's cool.
Which I will, of course, talk about. So, yeah, this is something that I've kind of wanted to do for a few months, and now that I'm in that sweet free choice, actually, I say sweet, but sometimes free choice it's almost too broad because you can do anything.
Too many, 6,000 options, as you said. It's hard.
It's so hard.
And you went outside of the 6,000
I went
options.
outside. And I'll explain why this came to me towards the end of the report. But anyway, it's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I started reading and researching, and I think she's had a pretty phenomenal life. But I do want to warn you that her early life, and actually quite a lot of her personal life, not great.
Okay.
So, Godspeed to you two for bringing the comedy today. Okay.
Love that challenge.
I'm just here to do the report, okay? I'm just here for the info. You're here for the fun.
We're here for the tainment.
Exactly right.
I think, Helen Reddy, I think she was on my mind because I think there's a new film coming out about her life.
It's out. It's on Stan. It's called I Am Woman.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it's out already, yeah. So that's why it's front of mind, yeah.
That must be why it's front of mind.
Exactly
Great
right.
Australian performer too, I think.
It looks pretty good. I'll give it a watch.
I love it. And Homer Simpson sings that song, or no, a Homer Simpson lookalike when Bart's waiting to be picked up after soccer, sings I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. I am woman, hear me roar. I love, and it was in the same episode where Homer forgets to pick up Bart. He's watching Wheel of Fortune. He's like, pick a bar? What the hell's pick a bar?
Well, and Marge is like, Homer, you remember to pick up Bart? I'm on my way. That's because that's the Wheel of Fortune. I'm on my way. Sorry, Marge, do you say something? That is very funny stuff.
Such a good episode.
Good bit.
Trap you sip. Sorry.
Is that the Big Brother episode?
Yeah, that's right. That's the start of that.
One of Phil Hartman's great eps.
So funny.
Anyway, what an early sidetrack. So for new listeners, from now on we sit quietly and respectfully and we listen.
That's right. So Aretha Louise Franklin was born on March 25th, 1942 at the family home in Memphis, Tennessee. Her parents were Barbara and Clarence LaVaughn. He was known as CL, and her father was a Baptist minister, and her mother was an accomplished pianist and singer. The family moved around a bit with CL's work, firstly to Buffalo, New York, and then to Detroit, where CL took over the pastorship of the New Bethel Baptist Church. Now, she was one of 4 children born to her parents. She had older siblings Irma and Cecil and younger sister Carolyn, all of them born 2 years apart. 1938, 1940, 1942, 1944. Bang, 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 bang.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I love that.
That's a well-planned family.
I feel like once you've done that with the first 2, you have to keep it going.
Right.
And what
I mean?
Was it to the date? Like they're all born on the same date, 2 years apart?
Sadly, no.
Actually,
I don't know her siblings' birthdays, so let's say yes.
Because it's easier to have one birthday party every year for all 4 kids.
Absolutely. One big bash. Love that. So both
ours was more like exponentially. I was 1 calendar year after my older sister, and then my brother was like 2.5 and then my younger sister 3.5. It's like each time that my parents are like, let's give it a little bit more of a gap, I think.
And are they still going?
Yeah, they're still going. So, well, we assume so. I mean, the gap's quite large at the moment.
Yeah, but who knows?
Who knows?
And that's their choice.
Yeah.
Matt's got a little baby brother. So both of her parents also had children from previous relationships. Her mother had a son named Vaughn from her past marriage, and CL, the Baptist minister, fathered a daughter outside of his marriage with a member of his congregation.
Okay.
Another note on her father. He sounds like a real character. I'm fascinated and perplexed by him. He was quite famous by the sounds of it. He was friends with Martin Luther King Jr. He recorded more than 70 sermonic albums, which were broadcast on radio on Sundays. He was called the man with the $1 million voice. Sorry, Dave.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well, Dave's voice sounds cheap in comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you account for inflation, that's sort of like a $13-14 million voice these
Yeah.
days. Wow.
Easily. And here you are, the man with the $100,000 voice. It's just not as good.
Oh, it sounds shitty now.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
And how many Semisonic albums did he record?
70 albums of sermons.
Oh, sermon.
Yeah.
Sermon Sonic. What was the word?
Semonic.
Oh, wow. That's weird.
Yeah. I had to look
I
it
didn't
up.
know what
I was
that
like,
meant.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah, like
semonic.
sermons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Semonic. Demonic.
70 of them.
And when
You
you're
don't want to
saying
make that mistake. You accidentally put out a demonic album when you're trying to do a semonic album.
It's not with your brand.
Oh,
and when you're saying like the $1 million voice, is that just a speaking voice, like for preaching, or is he also singing? Do you think?
Yes, he had he was a good singer, but he had a style of preaching that he kind of seamlessly segued into song a lot.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so he seemed like a very charismatic, like pastor.
I
And
love
he-
a seamless segue. It reminds me of the time when I was trying to do a seamless segue, but it was very clunky. Very clunky.
See, that's why
I don't have the $1 million voice.
No, you don't, and that's okay. No, like we can't all have $1 million voices.
But for him, it would have sounded like something like, I love a seamless segue. It reminds me of the time. Straight in there.
And he was pretty flashy. He dressed in flashy suits and he drove Cadillacs and he had a lot of affairs. He was a flashy guy.
Wow, okay. CL, you
he's-
old dog.
CL. His Aretha's sister Irma said in an interview, "I do know that my parents' relationship was stormy and that my father had a violent temper. I never saw him strike her, but we were all very conscious of not inciting Daddy's wrath." So not a great home life, obviously.
Love that. Love someone, a preacher. It's sermons, all about God and love.
Yeah.
And at home, well, that's weird, isn't it?
Really weird. So due to his infidelities, which also included a long-term on-again, off-again affair with gospel singer Clara Ward, who was quite famous at the time as well, the Franklins' marriage was a troubled one and they eventually divorced in 1948. So Aretha's mother, Barbara, went back to Buffalo, accompanied by her son, Vaughn, and the other children stayed with their father in Detroit.
Go Bills, go Pistons.
Yes, I had that written in, but you did it. I didn't even need to definitely reference it. So Aretha and her siblings would visit their mother and their brother in Buffalo during the summer, and Barbara would come and visit them in Detroit. But obviously, they're not Buffalo and Detroit aren't super close by, so it's they don't get to see each other all that much. And this was when Aretha was 6 when her mum left. And her brother Cecil said, as much as Aretha adored our father, she would have been thrilled to live with Mother. But Dad made it clear that wasn't an option. So he kept the kids. Aretha and her
Right.
sisters were all really talented singers. Irma and Carolyn also went on to have careers in music. But Aretha really stood out. She was particularly talented. So CL hired a piano teacher to help Aretha polish the skills. She'd already taught herself a bit of piano. But she was a shy kid, and whenever the piano teacher came over, she would hide, which I get. I did that a little bit too when we had a piano teacher come into the house. She scared me a bit.
Well, what you haven't mentioned there is her piano teacher was the boogeyman.
That's funny. We called my piano teacher the Dragon Lady.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Not to her face, please.
No, I don't remember what her name was though.
Hey, Dragon Lady.
Hi, come on in.
It's an ironic nickname. You're so adorable.
You're so soft and fluffy. Anyway, so she preferred to just play by ear, which she said has allowed me to develop a rather personal and signature style, which I treasure and would not give up for anything or anyone. I'm also imagining a 6-year-old writing that, but that was probably later in life that she wrote that down. In an interview later, a friend of her brother, who was a man named Smokey Robinson,
Wow.
ring a bell at all?
Yeah, geez, you're dropping some names early.
There's a lot of them.
and that's
To be
just
honest, it happens a lot.
her bro's friend.
Yeah, they grew up together, grew up down the street. Smokey Robinson. So he said there was a grand piano in the Franklin living room, and when Aretha sat down, even as a 7-year-old, she started playing chords, big chords. Mind you, this was Detroit, where musical talent ran strong and free. Aretha came out of this world, but she also came out of another far-off magical world none of us really understood.
Buffalo.
I don't get it.
Where even is that?
What's it like there? But yeah, even as a very young child, she's, people are saying that she's quite exceptional. So her father would get her to perform for his famous friends who visited, including, again, some big names like Ella Fitzgerald and Nat King Cole. But actually, one of the people who influenced Aretha to become a singer was Clara Ward, who was, as I said, very successful gospel singer, but also the one who was having an affair with her father. So I'm fascinated by that dynamic, but I read that Aretha preferred to view them strictly as friends. She was like, oh, it's just Dad's friend.
Yeah, kind of like how grandparents call new partners.
Yeah, your friend.
Dave, you've got a new friend, do you?
I've had that before.
This is my grandson Dave and his friend. You're like, okay.
I guess it's them being coy. They're trying to not, maybe you haven't announced it yet, Dave. Do you normally announce it?
Yeah, I do.
Everybody, ding, ding, ding. Everybody, please, gather round, family.
Little Davey has an announcement.
I have a girlfriend.
I've also had, girlfriends' dads for years call you.
You've had girlfriends' dads?
No, refer to me.
Everybody, I'd like to make an announcement. I have a girlfriend's dad.
They refer to you as their daughter's friend, and you go, mate, come on, is this wishful thinking on your behalf? What's going on?
I'm sorry, mate. I'm in.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
She loves me.
She really
I'm
likes
sorry.
me.
Sorry, we live together. I'm so sorry.
So he's like, yeah. Everyone's got housemates. I get it. Would you prefer?
What are you, pen pals or
Would
something?
you prefer I called you my daughter's housemate or?
Yeah, what do you prefer? Yes, so Aretha being inspired by this amazing and successful gospel singer, Clara Ward. Mm-hmm. But in Buffalo, Aretha's mother, Barbara, had been unwell and the cause of her illness was unknown. And on March the 7th, 1952, Vaughan was on his way home from school when he saw an ambulance speeding by. Barbara had passed away from a heart attack at the age of 34.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
She was young.
So young.
And Aretha was only a few weeks shy of turning 10, so she's only little. And back in Detroit, CL told his children that their mother had passed away. Aretha later wrote, I cannot describe the pain. Pain is sometimes a private matter, and the pain of small children losing their mother defies description. It was just awful. So this event obviously had a huge impact on Aretha. After her mother died, she started singing. She was always singing, but she was putting more of herself into her singing, and she was singing solos at the church where her father was the preacher. And this is from an article in Rolling Stone, which was like a big basis of this report. It's an amazing, amazing article. So it says, Ruth Bowen, who is Aretha's publicist, said, let me tell you about the kind of child Aretha was. She was a traumatised child. Seeing Aretha in her father's church, she looked like a lost child. Her eyes were filled with sadness. And then she got up to sing. This sound came out. It was gospel filled with blues. I mean, frighteningly strong blues, beautifully mature blues. After she sang, she sat back down and withdrew into her own little world. I like having these quotes and these insights into how profoundly talented she was from such an early age. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just sort of cool to see people describing it like that.
Yeah, like she was almost like the chosen one.
Yeah.
You know? It's like if it was a movie, she's Harry Potter or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and you hear
the prophecy has foretold of a
Yeah.
woman with an amazing voice.
You hear stories of people, starting acting quite late in life or, having completely normal childhoods and then finding fame and doing things. But like super early on, people heard her sing and went, oh, yep, okay. Like you're going to be huge.
I don't think I've ever heard a kid sing. Like, if I've ever heard a kid sing, I'm like, oh, very good. Nice.
Oh, aren't you cute?
Great. It was fantastic when you stopped. Thank you.
I loved it when it ended. Aren't you clever?
Have you tried rap?
I can't wait to be a stage
Have you tried
mum.
sewing or, done something quieter?
Yeah, why don't you go do some crafts for a bit? With felt, a quiet craft.
No scissors allowed.
No, they're too loud.
Make-
One of the quiet crafts. That's a why don't you pick one of the quiet crafts?
Mummy's got a hangover. No scissors today.
Oh, these are your kids.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's
This is you guys
way
talking
more
to my
brutal.
children. This is Uncle Matt going, oh, okay.
I was picturing like a friend that you know a little bit, and you see their kid, and they're very proud of their kid singing, and you have to be polite. But no, you're talking about your own kids, and it's not. Yeah, well, if you really want to sing, we can work on it. We can practice together. It's like, no, none of that. No more, please.
Shush
stop.
now. Shush.
That's great.
Yeah.
I really do think you should have kids.
Thank you.
Post-haste.
Me too. If not just to, be a mummager, I think I'll be a great stage mum.
Oh, I think
A dance mum. I'll be a dance mum, even though I never danced myself.
5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
8. I can see you doing that a lot. That's how you wake up your kid.
Well, I'm kind of going to call her Tafinica.
Oh, that's a beautiful
Oh,
name.
wow. It sounds so lovely.
That is a really nice name.
Thank you. Thank you for your well wishes.
Speaking of good names, Aretha is a sick name, and you don't hear it.
It's good, isn't it?
I don't know if I know any other Arethas. I'm not sure that I do.
I don't think so.
Which is why she's one of those few people who's, if you say one name, you don't need her surname.
Yeah, exactly.
Say
right.
Aretha, you know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she's pretty epic. So when she's 12, CL started to act as a manager for his daughter.
Mamager.
And yeah, a dadager. And he would she'd travel around with him when he went on the road for his gospel caravan tours for her to perform in various churches. He would go from place to place. I read somewhere that he was getting paid like $4,000 for like appearance fees or to like come and do a sermon, which
It's what
and this
God
is
would
back
have
in like
wanted.
the 60s, the 50s, 60s.
I mean, you got to pay the insurance premium on that $1 million voice somehow.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So yeah, she's off performing with her dad. It's pretty insane. Also at the age of 12, this is something I never knew. At the age of 12, Aretha fell pregnant with her first child.
Oh, my goodness.
At the age of what?
12.
Holy shit.
And amazingly, given the time, it wasn't made into a big deal. Her dad was supportive, and her family kind of rallied around her. She had a baby at 12.
Oh, she had a baby at 12.
Yes.
Holy shit.
1955.
That's a real Gilmore Girls kind of scenario. Is that what happened in that show?
That was like, maybe she was 15 or 16 in that show. 12 is wild. I had no idea about that. And apparently, and we probably didn't know it because Aretha didn't really talk about it much. She didn't like to talk about it in
Right.
interviews, which I understand. So yeah, 1955, she gives birth to her first child, Clarence, named after her father. There were rumours about who the baby's father was, but she kept that to herself, didn't talk about it in interviews, never disclosed it. In fact, jumping ahead a little, it only really came out last year in 2019 that the father was Edward Jordan, who she also had another child with 2 years later, another boy named Edward, after its father, born in 1957. So she's 14 and she has 2 kids.
Oh, my.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Yeah, that is mind blowing. I mean, you say, considering the time, it wasn't made into a big deal, but like now that would be
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
12-year-old. Like, I think that's been a big deal since maybe like the Middle Ages or something.
Yeah, 12.
When that was probably normal. Now it's like, what the fuck? Like, I would have, that's mind blowing stuff.
I know.
And it's how old? I mean, this is real dodgy world here. What?
Yeah.
How old's the dad?
I don't know. I'm assuming similar age, but I don't know.
6.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a young dad.
a 6-year-old dad. Yeah. So she's 14 with 2 children, and she's also gaining more attention as a gospel singer. So she'd go on tour with her father's gospel caravan, which would travel all over the place to perform. And while their music was wholesome, the after-show activities were a little less so. Here's a quote from another name you might recognise, Ray Charles.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of him.
His work.
No, Ray Charles? Anyway, apparently he would go on these occasionally, and he said, I loved the church singers. When it came to, this is a very confusing quote, so see if you can help me unpack this. When it came to pure heart singing, they were motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yep.
But then he
When it
said,
came
when
to-
it came to pure sex, they were wilder than me, and that's saying something.
Ray Charles, my God.
So when it came to pure heart singing, they were motherfuckers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by that.
I think
quote
he's
from
using
Ray
that.
Charles.
That's positive. It sounds positive to me, right?
Yeah, so they were amazing singers
Yeah.
and amazing
Dynamite in the
sexers.
sack.
Yeah. Crazier
Even more
than
so
him.
than him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, a guy called Nick Salvatore wrote a book about C.L. Franklin called Singing in a Strange Land. And he wrote, what arrangements C.L. made to shield her from the tour's nocturnal activities are not known, but her very presence unavoidably exposed her to experiences well beyond her years, which is absolutely true, but also she's already had 2 children.
I mean, this is just classic church music tour stuff, though, isn't
know
it?
what happens
it's
on
a
church
lot of
tour.
boning. Yeah.
Stays on church tour.
Church, you know what the church is like? It's all about sex,
yeah.
sex,
So
and
So
rock and roll.
horny in the church.
Starts with the organ, finishes with the orgasm, am I right?
Yeah, big time.
It's a church across the road. All I bloody see is just nudes, nudes, nudes. And I'm like, oh, put it away. I'm yelling that naked on my balcony, of course.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
on
it's
my
infectious, isn't it?
balcony. Put it away, you little grubs. It's a Sunday. Anyway. So, yeah, she's on tour with these people who are just, singing by day, fucking by night.
Oh, wow. I mean, good on them.
Yeah.
Living a life for sure.
So around the same time in 1956, still with her, I said 56, in 1956, still with her father managing her, she released her first album, Songs of Faith. This album would later be re-released almost 10 years later in 1965, but it's 56, she's a teenager, she's 14, first album's out, Songs of Faith. When she was 16, she even went on tour with Martin Luther King Jr., singing at things that he would speak at, and she would even go on to sing at his funeral in 1968. Isn't that wild? She
Yeah.
just knows everyone.
Sounds very well connected.
Yeah, through her dad, who seemed to be very well connected. 2 of the artists she was most inspired by were Dinah Washington and Sam Cooke, both of whom were friends of her famous dad. And this is from the Rolling Stone article again. It says, neither fit any single genre. Both started in gospel but proved endlessly transformative. Amalgamate the 2 and you pretty much have the alchemy for Aretha Franklin. So they were really, really inspirational to her. Sam Cooke was a big star, and his group, the Soul Stirrers, were often on tour with CL and his gospel caravan, so Aretha got to spend a lot of time with him and learn a lot about the music she wanted to make. So when she was 18, she told her father that she was inspired by Sam Cooke and wanted to make the move into pop music, wanted to move away from gospel. And he agreed because, as Aretha's sister Carolyn said, the plan was to make her a star and make it happen quickly. So he's like, yes, go, be a big star. So Berry Gordy, who famously founded Motown Records, wanted to sign Aretha, but CL thought Motown wasn't established enough yet and were too local. They needed bigger. Isn't that fucking wild?
That's good. That's good foresight there.
Yeah.
Motown.
Schmotown.
There'll never be anyone.
Yeah, nothing. So this is a nice quote from Billy Davis, who was Berry Gordy's songwriting partner. He said, everything that she sang was with such emotion that you felt every word. She just had terrific control over her expressions. Amazing. So she's 18. People are still just like, fucking hell, she's so good. So they decided she should move to New York, which is exactly what she did, leaving her two children behind to live with her grandmother. So like their great-grandmother? No. Yes. I understand families. Initially, she lived in cheap hotels and focused on trying to meet the right people who could help her. From Rolling Stone again, it says, she and CL hired a new manager, Joe King. Joe King!
That's very funny. People laugh
didn't-
when he shakes their hands. He's like, what? I don't get it.
I didn't even pick it up when I was writing it or reading it. But here we are. Joe King. In early 1960, King introduced CL to Phil Moore, an arranger and jazz pianist.
That's also funny.
Phil Moore. God damn, these are great. Moore sat down with Aretha at the piano and they played a few songs. Then he turned to CL and made this statement about Aretha Franklin. Your daughter does not require my services. Her style has already been developed. Her style is in place. It is a unique style that, in my professional opinion, requires no alteration. Just some nice feedback.
I thought he was going to return to the dad, and you were going to say, and he made this symbol, and he rubbed his fingers together. You were going to be rich.
Oh my God. He just gave him the thumbs up.
Yeah. Huh?
And then turned to Aretha and went, "Aren't you good?
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Oh, well done.
You're great for a child, which you still basically are.
Oh, good job." So after learning that CL was trying to get Aretha signed with Columbia Records, Phil Moore suggested they meet with John Hammond, who was a great producer and who had discovered, he was sort of famously known for discovering 17-year-old Billie Holiday a few decades earlier. So he visited the studio and listened to a demo they'd prepared for him, and he did not need a lot of convincing. He later said that he thought Aretha was an untutored genius, the best voice I've heard since Billie Holiday. It's epic.
Yeah, wow, she's just extremely talented.
Yeah. And it's like abundantly clear immediately. People hear her sing and go, oh, yeah, okay. It's like jaw-dropping. So in January 1961, Columbia issued Franklin's first album, Aretha, with the Ray Bryant Combo. There's some good album names in here, by the way. So this is a first secular album, not gospel, not religious. Aretha with the Ray Bryant Combo.
Are they like a backing band?
Yeah, it must be, yeah. The album featured her first single to chart the Billboard Hot 100, which was Won't Be Long, which also peaked at number 7 on the R&B chart. Before the year was out, she'd scored her first hit single with her rendition, this is confusing, with her rendition of the standard Rockabye Your Baby with a Dixie Melody.
Poetry.
Rockabye Your Baby with a Dixie Melody. You know?
Yeah, great catchy song
I
title.
love keeping them short and sweet.
They don't write them like that anymore, let me tell you
They
that.
don't.
For good-
Rockabye Your Baby with a Dixie Melody.
For good reason, too.
It became her first international hit, actually. It reached top 40 in Australia and Canada as well. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Australia's the big market. That's the one you want.
Yeah. If you can make it in Australia, you can make it anywhere. That's what they all say.
John Farnham?
I think they do use Australia as a testing market, and I think it does have a pretty good. I remember reading this a while ago that it's got a pretty good record for like American artists to, if they do well here, they'll do well at home and elsewhere.
So we're tastemakers.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how I think of us.
Trendsetters.
Real trendsetters, yeah. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way, and bands are only big here. Like, I think Blink-182 were always bigger here than anywhere else.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah.
It's funny how you're so, like you shape your sense of things based on your surroundings and stuff. So I'm just like, yeah, they're big.
I think they're pretty big in America, but I think they were bigger here. And a lot of that surf punk stuff was relatively sold better in Australia than it did in America.
I feel like Ronan Keating was very big here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a pretty good sign that they're bigger here than elsewhere when they end up being judges on our talent shows.
Yeah. Take that, Kelly Rowland.
Good Charlotte's another one I think that was definitely
Seal.
more of a household name here than anywhere else in the world.
We had Seal.
Seal. Kissed by a Rose.
That's funny. Anyway, I think I just sort of felt like mentioning that because I feel like we're so far away. And this is back in 1961 that I'm sort of like, wow, even we had it. Cool. Even we liked Aretha back then. That's cool.
Yeah, I know that it does. Sometimes it is like, oh, we don't always get the cool stuff, especially back in the day.
Yeah.
We'd miss some stuff. And there are bands that are huge in America that over here are like, I don't really know them at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny
and
how
vice
that
versa.
happens.
Isn't culture
Oh my God,
fun?
it's so fun.
Especially when there's so much overlap between ours and America's. Well, one way anyway. Theirs overlapping our way, but it's funny when the bits that don't make it over.
Yeah. Culture.
Isn't it funny?
It's so funny.
And definitely worth talking about.
I love it. I love culture.
Oh, my goodness.
By the end of 1961, Aretha was named as a new star female vocalist in Downbeat magazine. It's not the great title. New star female vocalist. And she released 2 more albums the following year. They were called The Electrifying Aretha Franklin and The Tender, The Moving, The Swinging Aretha Franklin.
Oh,
that one's a
wow.
little long. It's a little long. The Electrifying Aretha Franklin, I don't hate.
I think that's a good title. Good artwork as well. Her, in lights.
Yes, but how do you feel about the tender, the moving, the swinging Aretha Franklin?
I wasn't, the swinging didn't really, I wasn't expecting it.
Okay.
I'm not opposed.
So what would you be expecting after the tender, the moving, the...
Beautiful.
Oh, okay. But swinging.
Yeah.
So I'm picturing her on a swing.
Oh, okay. All right, good. That's good. You sell it with an image.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. Matt, what do you think of those album titles?
I think they could use more words. You know?
Okay, yeah.
I reckon if you could just add in to a Dixie tune at the end, or
Yeah.
a Dixie melody to all of them.
Yeah.
I'd do that with every album.
The
I release.
Electrifying Aretha Franklin with a Dixie melody.
Yeah, now we're getting
There
somewhere.
it is.
No, that's great. Electrifying is awesome.
Electrifying is
adjective.
good. It was around this time that at 19 years old, she met and married Ted White, a businessman, songwriter and producer. Her brother Cecil said that their father knew Ted was something of a shady character and that he thought the association would hurt Aretha. Apparently, a lot of people thought this guy was a bit of bad news, but he seems like he was one of those very charming, charismatic guys. She was sort of young and fell hard.
Right.
And they were like, don't know about this guy. But her career's going well, and we may know Aretha as the Queen of Soul now, but the term was actually thrown around really, really early in her career. It was in the 1960s. During a performance at the Regal Theatre, this radio personality called Purvis Spann.
Fantastic.
Purvis Spann. Too many S's in there.
Sounds like he's going for a pun that didn't quite work.
Purvis Spann. Purvis Spann. It's terrible. Anyway, he announced that Aretha should be crowned the Queen of Soul, and he even ceremonially placed a crown on her head. Like a big
That's
thing.
rad.
But yeah, early on it was like, no one can top you. Incredible.
I love those. I love how music has done a real history of doing that, of crowning different artists with often arbitrarily like that. It's just like a marketing thing, but that one has definitely stuck.
Yeah.
Is Ray Charles is the genius of soul or something like that, I think.
Yeah,
And,
I can't remember. Yeah.
Chuck Berry was the father of rock and roll.
Yep.
Yeah, I find those nicknames fun.
Yeah.
Neil Young, the godfather of grunge, is a good one.
Yeah, they're all these just these titles, but it sort of comes usually a bit later in their career.
Yeah.
You know, when they have like this huge big back catalogue to draw from and you go, yeah, okay, you've been really influential. This is early on, like she's still a teenager. And they're like, the Queen, we got the Queen here. Like,
Yeah, that's
okay.
sick. You'd expect a teenager, they'd call her the princess of pop or something. but
Straight to
yeah,
Queen.
Love it.
By 1964, she recorded more pop music, and her music's charting across R&B charts and also easy listening. And apparently by the mid-60s, she's making $100K a year performing in nightclubs and theatres all over the country. Performing all the time. She's doing very, very well.
I was so sure you were going to say this was one of those stories where the dad just took all the money. But she's actually making money, which is
She's
cool.
doing pretty well. Despite this success, the songs are charting well, but her albums aren't performing super well. And Columbia felt their albums didn't really fit any easily identifiable demographics of listeners because they included such a range of genres like show tunes and love songs and blues and pop and R&B. It was sort of too hard to categorize her. So when her contract was up with Columbia, she moved over to Atlantic Records, and they'd wanted her for a while. And a guy called Jerry Wexler called up and spoke with Ted White, her husband, who was now acting as her manager. And in November of 1966, she and Ted White sat down in Wexler's office and they made a deal. And Aretha later wrote, "I felt a natural affinity with the Atlantic sound. To me, Atlantic meant soul." So she felt like this is a good decision. We're going in the right direction. In January of 1967, she travelled to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, to record at Fame Studios and recorded the song "I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You," backed by the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section, just a group of musicians. She only spent one day recording at Fame because an altercation broke out between her manager and husband, Ted White, and the studio owner, Rick Hall, as well as one of the horn players, and the session was abandoned. The Rolling Stone article that I mentioned goes into this in a lot more detail about what happened. It seemed like the recording part went well, and as soon as always in her career, as soon as she opened her mouth and sang, the other musicians there were just sort of like, oh, shit, okay. Like they were like, she walked in a nobody and then she started singing and they thought, okay, well, we're working with a genius here. Yep, sure. So they were all she won them over. But I think there was like drinking and some personality clashes, some very strong personalities, and a fight broke out that night. And Ted and Aretha left Alabama to go back to New York. And this is another great paragraph from the Rolling Stones article. It says, the events of that night, as much as the liberating recording session during the day, amounted to breakthroughs for Franklin. She wanted out of Muscle Shoals, no question, and probably not for the first time, wanted out of her marriage as well. There had been troubling rumours about the couple, but for a time Franklin put up with White's rule. So things are about to change.
Oh. Well, Jess, I'm absolutely loving the story, but can I just drop in for a second here to ask you a question?
Please.
And that question is, when you use the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, I assume.
Well,
mainly because
most of the time.
But mostly because you don't want random passerbys to be looking in on you.
Of course.
Dave, where is this going?
Let me get to my point, which is, so if you do that, why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Using the internet without our good friends ExpressVPN is basically like going to the bathroom and not closing the door.
Yeah.
Oh, now I understand
get
where
it?
you're going, Dave. Yeah, now I get it. And that actually segues nicely into this point. Did you know that your internet service provider like Comcast or Verizon knows every single website you visit?
And
all of them.
All of them do. And what's worse is that they can sell that information to ad companies and tech giants, literal giants.
What?
Who'll use your
like
data.
in Pacific Rim?
Yeah, and they'll use your data to target you.
Whoa.
ExpressVPN is the answer because it puts a stop to this. It creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that your online activity can't be seen by anyone, especially Verizon or Verizon, as some people say.
Oh, that sounds weird. Well, if you're like me and believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself by visiting expressvpn.com/dogoon. Today, use my exclusive link, our exclusive link, thank you very much, expressvpn.com/dogoon, which is DOGOON. And you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/dogoon. And Jess, why don't you do go on?
Thank you, I will. So anyway, she goes back to New York and she still brings in the band that she was working with, the Muscle Shoals.
I will never get over that name.
Muscle Shoals. And she brings in her sisters, Irma and Carolyn, for harmonies as well. So they put the finishing touches on the songs they'd worked on, which were I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You and Do Right Woman, Do Right Man. And they released them 2 days later. They put the finishing touches on, release them. I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You peaked at number 1 on Billboard's R&B singles chart in April and number 9 on the pop chart. They also released her version of Otis Redding's Respect, which reached number 1 on both the R&B and pop charts. Did you know that was a cover?
Yes.
Yeah, it was originally written by a man. It fully changes the meaning of the song. It's amazing.
It's quite different too. So Otis Redding recorded it only a couple of years earlier in 1965, and it's great, but it's very, very different. And Aretha's version put a twist on the original. Like it wasn't so much a yearning plea, it was like a demand, you know?
Yeah.
It was demanding respect. And so it was no longer a man's petition. It was something of a threat that switched gender tables. That's how it was described. It was something completely new. Apparently when Jerry Wexler played the new version for Otis Redding, he said, I just lost my song.
Yeah, and he was right.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's so switched on of him.
Yeah.
To know that instantly.
And he's
amazing.
still fun. Like it's a great track still, but you're like, oh yeah, nah, she wiped the floor with you. I mean, good job, Otis Redding. I guess.
Yeah. Legendary musician, I guess.
Well, I suppose, but hers is great, and it became her signature song, and it was later hailed as a civil rights and feminist anthem. It was massive, so it was really big for her. In 1968, she won her first 2 Grammys, including the debut category for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. She toured outside of the US for the first time in May of that year as well, including an appearance in Amsterdam, where she played to a hysterical audience who covered the stage with flower petals. She was also on the cover of Time magazine in June. Like, she's just having this massive year. It's all happening. But also in 1968, she separated from her husband, Ted White, with whom she'd had a child as well called Ted Jr., born in 1964.
Jeez.
So she's got 3 kids.
Every kid she had was named after, one was after the grandfather, one after, and the other 2 after the fathers.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
That's cool. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
There's no pressure then.
But it's good when
you've
you,
just
like,
gone through a birth. You
you know-
don't have to think of a name now.
You've had plenty of time to think of it ahead of time, but you're right. It's like when you can't think of a lie, so you just sort of look around the room.
Yeah.
In this case, they're like, what do you want to call it? And they're like, I don't know, Ted.
That guy's name?
Ted.
It was between that and Baird.
What do you
Ted
reckon?
or Baird?
Ted or Baird?
You pick. I've just looked up Otis Redding just to see if he had a cool nickname like all the ones we were talking about before. He had 4. The Big O, the Madman from Macon, Rockhouse Redding, and the King of Soul.
Oh,
So that's cool. He's the king to Aretha's
her queen. What was the one before that? Big Red? No. Did I make that?
Rockhouse Redding.
Rockhouse Redding.
I love
That's
that.
pretty good.
Big Red's good.
Yeah, I don't know where I got Big Red from. Big O, I think. I just combined them. Anyway, so she's touring and becoming really successful, but as with so many greats, she had battles in her personal life as well. She apparently formed a habit of abusing alcohol as a way of coping with her failing marriage, even falling off the stage at one time and breaking her arm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Not a singing arm, I hope.
Oh, God. Oh, they were like, I'm sorry, you'll never sing again.
I hold the mic with this arm.
Can you use the other hand? No!
I'll never
done it that
ventriloquize
way.
again. What people don't know is until that point, her whole act was singing with a ventriloquist dummy.
And then people said, okay, now you can't use the dummy. Why don't you just sing that? Because really people are coming for the voice. Like, they're buying your records for the voice. She's like,
It was a real game-changing moment.
It was a massive moment in her career, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I did forget. I did leave that out, so thank you for picking that up.
Initially, she was known as the queen of singing hands up a dummy's butt. But, yeah, that was shortened later.
But, back then, everything, like the titles and stuff were longer. So we got snappier now.
Yeah.
Better editors. So her success continues to grow into the 70s. She returned to gospel music in this 2-night live church recording with the album Amazing Grace, and it sold more than 2 million copies. Just exploded.
That's a lot of copies.
Yeah. What some have called her golden era at Atlantic ran from early 1967 to early 1972, and during that time she was unquestionably the top solo female singing star, while also manifesting ongoing changes in Black America's consciousness. This is from the Rolling Stone article. Obviously, I couldn't write anything quite so eloquent. It says, the Black Revolution certainly, this is a quote from Aretha, the Black Revolution certainly forced me and the majority of Black people to begin taking a second look at ourselves, she later said. But I must say that mine was a very personal evolution, an evolution of the me and myself. I've gained a great deal of confidence in myself, which is nice. But these years also proved intense and variable for the singer. She was still in the aftermath of her volatile marriage to Ted White, while starting a new relationship with her road manager, Ken Cunningham. And in March of 1970, she gave birth to their son.
Ken.
No, but
Oh, big Ken.
it's like Kickalf, Kecalf.
I think that's pronounced
cool.
Ken.
Ken.
Yeah, that is Ken.
Let's call him Ken.
It's like how Americans say Craig, like Craig.
Yeah.
It's the same deal.
We say key calf, they say Ken.
Kickalf?
Ken, yeah, that's right.
Ken. So as a result of, just a lot happening, her live appearances were a bit more infrequent. And the sudden disappearance of Aretha was a frequent occurrence, says Jerry Wexler. No one used the words nervous breakdown, but we knew. So she was having a bit of a rough time in the mid-70s. And the late 70s were harder, and Aretha's albums weren't performing very well. She continued having R&B success with songs such as Until You Come Back to Me and I'm in Love, but by 1975 her albums and songs were no longer top sellers. Her albums with Atlantic including Sweet Passion, which was in 1977, Almighty Fire in 78, and La Diva in 79. Love La Diva. They all bombed on the charts. And in 1979 she left Atlantic Records. She married her second husband, actor Glyn Turman, on April 9th, 1978. Glyn
That's
Turman.
not a real name. That's an alien. Every now and again we come across one of these aliens who comes down, gets in a human form, and comes up with what they think is a human-sounding name.
Yeah.
They've just missed the mark.
They think we won't know. Glyn.
Glyn Turman. Sorry.
That was
Sorry, alien. Not this time.
not this time. You won't get past us. That was her second marriage in 1978, but they separated in the early 80s. It was a bit of a shorter marriage. The late 70s were just an all-round terrible time. On Sunday, June 10th, 1979, just after midnight, her father, C.L. Franklin, was shot twice at point-blank range during what was believed to have been an attempted robbery at his home in Detroit. He was taken to Henry Ford Hospital, where he remained in a coma for the next 5 years.
Whoa.
And he passed away in 1984.
He never woke up?
No.
I thought you were going to say days, and I would have been like, that's a long time.
5 years.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? So she lost her mum really young. Now her father's gone as well in the 80s.
Oh, imagine 5 years not knowing if he was going to wake up. That's awful.
Yeah. Oh, just terrible. But like we hear a lot with these kind of stories, it's like every biopic you see, it's always like there's a slump and there's hardship and then there's a comeback. And 1980 was a very big year for Aretha. After leaving Atlantic Records, she signed with Clive Davis's Arista Records. That same year, she gave a command performance at London's Royal Albert Hall in front of Queen Elizabeth. Fuck, that'd be cool. Imagine doing stand-up in front of the Queen. I think she wouldn't laugh at
Is that what
any
Aretha did? Did she do stand-up?
Yeah. They were like, do you want to sing? She was like, no.
But I've got some jokes.
I got some good jokes. So strap in, Lizzie. She also had an acclaimed guest role as a soul food restaurant proprietor and wife of Matt Guitar Murphy in the 1980 comedy musical The Blues Brothers.
It's a good scene.
She's great.
Great scene.
She's so good in it. She performs Think. It's incredible. Her first record with Arista Records was called Aretha. See?
Oh, yeah.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
That was in 1980.
She ends up, her last album's called A.
That's all she needs.
Just keeps shortening it. A to the tune of Dixie.
The Dixie Melody.
Yeah.
It featured the number 3 R&B hit United Together and her Grammy-nominated cover of Otis Redding's I Can't Turn You Loose. So she's nominated for a Grammy for that. In 1981...
he heard her version and he said, I'll keep this one.
Sucked in. 1981's Love All the Hurt Away. Love All the Hurt Away. That's good.
Oh.
Included her famed duet of the title track with George Benson, while the album also included her Grammy-winning cover of Sam and Dave's Hold On, I'm Coming.
What is that song about?
It's about your friend out the front beeping the horn at you.
Hang on.
Fucking hold on, I'm coming.
I can't find my keys.
I need my keys, don't I? I've got my lip balm, I've got my wallet, I've got my phone, I can't find my fucking keys. Yeah, been there, my friend. So yeah, she's won a Grammy for that. She achieved a gold record for the first time in 7 years with 1982 album Jump To It. And this is such a good fucking album. 1985's Who's Zoomin' Who?
Oh, how ahead of their time were they?
Yeah.
I
Who's
mean, the
zooming
pandemic
who?
comes around and everyone's zooming everyone.
Who isn't zooming whom? You know? Well, it became her first Arista album to be certified platinum. So she's like, fuck, she's coming back strong. in the
Hold
80s.
on.
She's killing
coming
it.
back strong with a Dixie melody.
Next decade's a little bit of a roller coaster. Some flops, some hit records, but she's working the entire time. She's performing. She's so prolific with albums. I'll tell you at the end how many she did. It's a lot. She became the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. And how wild is this? This is from Wikipedia, but I read this story in several places. Franklin received global praise after her 1998 Grammy Awards performance. She'd initially been asked to come and perform in honour of the 1980 The Blues Brothers film in which she appeared with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. Yes, we know Wikipedia, thank you. That evening, after the show had already begun, Pavarotti himself contacted show producers and said he was too ill to perform the opera aria Nessun Dorma as planned. The show's producers were desperate to fill the time slot and approached Aretha Franklin with their dilemma. She was a friend of Pavarotti and had sung that song 2 nights earlier at the annual Musicares event. She asked to hear Pavarotti's rehearsal recording and after listening, agreed she could sing it in the tenor range that the orchestra was prepared to play. So the orchestra's already ready to go and she's like, yeah, I can do it in that range. Over 1 billion people worldwide saw the performance and she received an immediate standing ovation.
Oh,
She
no.
just did an aria.
Now Pavarotti's lost a song as well.
She's there to do something else and they're like, hey, could you sing this aria? She's like, let me have a listen. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I can do that.
Gotcha.
When am I going on? 5 minutes? No worries.
What now?
No worries, we got it. Luckily, she'd performed literally that song 2 days earlier.
With Pavarotti.
No, it was like, I think it was like a tribute to Pavarotti. But she was like, I think she would have done it in a different sort of vocal range. But she's like, yeah, all right, I can do tenor, no worries.
That is...
That's a famous one as well, isn't it? I've heard of that. I
think
don't think
so.
I know a lot of arias, but I reckon I know that one.
I think it's one we'd know if we heard, but I don't recognise the name. But I'm sorry if you do at home and you're thinking I'm an ignorant idiot. Look, we all know different things.
There's some real opera snobs out there. Is it opera? Oh no, I've made it worse.
And they're like, oh. So, yeah, that's 1998 she did that. It's wild. 2000's are big for her as well. 2009, she made international headlines for performing My Country, 'Tis of Thee at President Barack Obama's inauguration ceremony. In fact, I think the thing that people talked about the most was the hat that she wore. She wore a big flashy hat.
yeah.
People were like, whoa, look at that hat.
That's the social media era,
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. Before that, they're like, God, her voice. Now they're like, look at that hat.
Then there's memes. Everyone's wearing that hat.
You
They're
guys
putting
see
that
that
hat on
hat?
other people.
I think
My
there
dog's
was,
wearing that hat. Look at this.
I think there was like the Smithsonian wanted the hat.
Okay.
It was
Iconic hat. I don't recall the hat.
Me either, but it was an iconic hat. In 2014, so this is just like back-to-back standing ovations. 2014, she performed to a standing ovation a compilation of Adele's Rolling in the Deep and Ain't No Mountain High Enough on The Late Show with David Letterman. And then I think that her cover of Rolling in the Deep went on like an album of covers. Aretha did an album. I didn't write it down. She did an album of covers of divas, and so she did that track, and then it did very, very well too. But imagine being Adele, who, like, that was off one of her early albums. Is it the first one?
No, it's the second one.
Second one, right? So 21. So she's 21 years old and Aretha Franklin is covering your track. Like, that's...
Oh my god.
I mean, what a tribute, but also like it comes out that you're on the album of divas, and you're like, oh, hang on a second,
You're like, what the fuck?
I'm 21.
Oh, and you're like, oh, I really need this song, and Aretha's like, mine now.
Mine now.
People can
Sorry.
never, and you can never do it justice again, despite even Adele's fantastic voice. Yeah.
Up, mine now.
Sorry.
Bye-bye.
I collect these.
And this is the thing that made me want to do the report. At the 2015 Kennedy Center Honours, during the section honouring Carole King, Aretha performed You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, which Carole King co-wrote, and once again, a standing ovation.
Oh, I've seen the footage of that, and Carole King's in the crowd, like, yeah.
Oh, Barack Obama is crying.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is incredible. I saw it a couple of months ago, just on one of those nights we were just like playing lots of different music and like YouTube clips on the TV and just listening to music really loud. And that came on and I watched it and my like my jaw dropped and I had full body chills and tears in my eyes. It is amazing. And I thought when I was writing this report, I was like, was I just, did it just catch me in the right mood? I watched it again 2 hours ago, same thing.
No kidding. Sounds like the kind of performance, if it was done on Australian Idol, Mark Holden would have given it a touch.
Oh, yes.
Is it that good?
It's that good. He probably would have made a weird comment about her outfit or something, but he still would have given it a touchdown.
And if it was on American Idol, Randy would have given it, that's a yes from me, dog. Which is rare.
That his catchphrase?
That's rare.
Yeah.
That's wow.
No, he's usually a no from me, dog, but he flips it because it's that good.
It's a no from me, dog. It's incredible. She's 73.
Oh, my God.
She comes out in this big fur coat, sits down at the piano, she starts playing. You're like, oh, damn, she can still play. And then she starts singing and you're like, fuck, because her voice is still so good. And, yeah, Obama's tearing up. Everyone's singing
And have
along.
they all got those rainbow suspenders on for the Kennedy Awards? Yeah, they look cool somehow, those rainbow suspenders.
It's pretty cool. And then, like, 3/4 of the way through the song, she stands up, walks away from the piano, somebody else comes in to start playing, and so she's just singing in front of the crowd. And as she's sort of like getting really into it, she just takes off her fur coat and just like chucks it to the side, and everybody, the whole place just stands up, and like the crowd is screaming and she's just singing. It's honestly so amazing. And that's why I was like, we should do a report on her. And then nobody had suggested it, and I was like, I'm going to wait until I get free choice.
As soon as he dropped that jacket with a Smithsonian on the phone trying to secure it.
Look, we're going to get that jacket. We missed out on the hat. I am not missing out on that jacket.
I want that jacket.
Did she sing Hey Big Spender after that? Rainbow suspenders
Dun, 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 dun,
down
Saturday.
on table 3.
She did come out with, like, she was just carrying her purse. Like, she just had a sparkly clutch with her. Like, she was just like, I'll just pop in and do this.
A
It's very cool.
clutch, for listeners who don't know, that's a handbag without a strap. Mm-hmm. I learnt that many years ago, and it's my favourite little fact to
It's
drop
honestly
in.
like a less convenient handbag because now you have to carry it.
It's a wallet.
A big wallet. It's a
Big wallet.
big purse, I guess. Anyway, an incredible performance. You absolutely should check it out. I'll leave it in the references so you can find it easily. Matt, I'll just send it to you as soon as we're done, and then I'll watch
thank
you
so
watch it,
much.
if that's okay.
That would be fantastic.
Great.
Reaction video. Should we get into reaction videos?
Yes, everyone loves those. They make so much sense.
I'm fully going to do one for this video. I'll put it on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And it's just sort of me sort of tapping my chin. Oh, okay.
But are you going to actually put the clip in the corner, or you're just going to have yourself?
No. It'll be just my face. You won't be able to hear the music.
And then you just go, oh, the jacket. The jacket.
Oh, the jacket. She mentioned
Video
that.
of me nodding. Of course I'll put the video in, Jess.
Okay, I was
I
just
want everyone to
asking.
get the full
I was
experience.
just asking. Anyway, in 2010, Aretha Franklin cancelled a number of concerts to have surgery for an undisclosed tumour. Having lost 3 of her siblings to cancer, 2 of them like within a couple of months of each other, she seemed pretty determined to fight and did a big comeback show the following year. Over the next few years, she had to cancel some performances, but did as many as she possibly could, and announced that 2017 would be her final year touring, which, I mean, she was 75, so I think that's fair. I think that's okay.
And she's been going since she was like 11.
Yeah. Like 12 years old, she was out performing with her dad.
Crazy.
Wild. You can retire at 75. That's okay. But sadly, on August 13, 2018, Aretha was reported to be gravely ill at her home. She was under hospice care and surrounded by friends and family, including Stevie Wonder, Jesse Jackson, and her ex-husband, Glyn Turman.
Glyn Turman. Phone home, Glyn Turman. Your time on this earth is over.
Phone
He
home.
just beams up.
Oh, I should also mention her partner up until this point as well was a guy called Willie Wilkerson.
Okay, another one.
So she's
They've
got a
infiltrated her
type.
family.
She's got a type, and that's aliens. But Aretha Franklin died at her home on August 16, 2018, aged 76, which is a fucking absolute loss. And I just wanted to list a few of her achievements and recognitions here as well. This is quite a long list, and I haven't even included all of them. So she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1979. Her voice was declared a Michigan natural resource in 1985.
Trying to monetize it somewhere.
Ours, shotgun.
Maybe we could sell it to the Russians.
She became the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. The National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences awarded her a Grammy Legend Award in 91 and then the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 94. She was the recipient of the National Medal of Arts in 99 and bestowed the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2005. She became the second woman inducted into the UK Hall of Fame in 2005. In 2019, she was awarded a Pulitzer Prize Special Citation for her contribution to American music and culture for more than 5 decades, making her the first individual woman to receive a Pulitzer Prize Special Citation. In 2010, she was ranked first on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 100 greatest singers of all time and 9th on the list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. She released 40 studio albums.
40. Wow, you happy with that number?
40. I'm so happy with that. God, imagine if it was like 41. What? 40.
Yeah, please, no posthumous releases. It's going to happen. You'll be
Yeah,
furious.
it probably already has, to be honest, but yeah, damn it. She was nominated for a Grammy Award 44 times.
What?
And won 18.
Wow. She'd be up there then.
Up there with Nora Jones.
So many Grammys.
Yeah, but
There's just one photo that I remember of Nora Jones like cuddling.
well, like she won
7
like 10 or
Grammys
something in
year.
one night, did she?
Yeah, that's what I don't know why, but that's all I associate the Grammys with. Is
Nora
Nora
Jones?
Jones hugging a pile of them.
And just to wrap it up nicely, President Obama, after this performance of A Natural Woman, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman at the 2015 Kennedy Center Honors, he said, American history wells up when Aretha sings. Nobody embodies more fully the connection between the African-American spiritual, the blues, R&B, rock and roll, the way that hardship and sorrow were transformed into something full of beauty and vitality and hope. And Aretha Franklin later recalled that night, that 2015 Kennedy Center Honors, as one of the best nights of her life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that really nice? But yeah, so that's sort of my report. I know I rushed through a lot of the back end. I meant to say up the top that I was going to be focusing a lot on her early life because I knew nothing about it at all. I didn't know heaps about her personally anyway, but obviously I was familiar with her music and I knew who she was. But yeah, I wanted to kind of focus on kind of those formative years, but far out. There's still so much more you could talk about with Aretha Franklin. She had a really fascinating and hard and, a difficult but impactful life.
Amazing. It's a great story.
Yeah.
What a legend. Can I read you one thing I just found when I tried to find her hat before and I found this article, which I think you guys will like. Oh, I also looked up Glyn Turman. He's an actor that I recognise and he's from so many things.
Yeah. But he's also an alien.
An alien, yeah. No wonder he's so good in TV. He's using his alien powers. He was even in multiple episodes of Murder, She Wrote in the 80s.
Oh, my goodness.
He's done it all.
That famous sci-fi.
He's been in everything. He was in Gremlins.
Did you play a gremlin?
Yeah.
He's
done
in
it
The
all.
Wire. He's in House of Lies, The Red Line. So much stuff. Fargo. All right. Anyway, I found this article. The first thing that came up when I Googled Aretha Franklin's hat. And this is the article, and it's written just after she died. The Queen of Soul, this is in people.com. The Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, died on Thursday at the age of 76 of advanced pancreatic cancer of the neuroendocrine type. And ever since the news broke, moving tributes have been pouring in, remembering the legendary singer and her most memorable performances. From her 5-minute long national anthem at the 2016 Detroit Lions game to her Blues Brothers cameo, she's had many unforgettable moments. But there is one image from recent years that people will always remember, and it has to do with her style. During Franklin's performance at President Barack Obama's inauguration, Her hat immediately stole the show and became the day's most popular meme. And the designer behind the topper, Luke Song of Mr. Song Millinery, spoke to people about his close relationship with the Queen. The whole article
Is about the hat?
about the hat. She just died.
Fucking hell.
So they're like, obviously she's had a lot of unforgettable moments, but the thing that people remember most is that hat.
From a couple of years ago.
Here's our interview with the guy who created the hat. It's like that feels like something from The Simpsons.
It's from The Simpsons.
That's the inanimate carbon
Or
rod.
on The Simpsons when they've got Malibu Stacy. This one comes with a cheap hat. It has a hat. And all the kids and Smith is like tear each other apart to get a crappy doll with a cheap hat.
Oh, that is, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, that's pretty funny. I mean, obviously people.com's pretty high quality journalism. I also looked up, because I was just fact checking myself when I said that Blink-182 and Good Charlotte were bigger in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
That was true at the start of their careers, and then I guess that was kind of my point in a way. Australia's like a testing ground. Their first albums charted in Australia and New Zealand a lot higher. Cheshire Cat for Blink-182 didn't chart in America, it did in Australia, and then Dude Ranch charted higher in Australia than anywhere else in the world, and then they started climbing the charts.
So are you hoping that a few people have deleted some tweets in the last hour?
Yeah, I think so. And Good Charlotte's the same. They charted in the top 100 only in Australia and New Zealand with their first album.
Actually, I live in America and I have all of their album. Okay, yep. We're talking on a bigger scale.
So defensive. How defensive are we? But yeah, that is. I don't know why that was that they. It feels like surely you get your start in your home country, then you go abroad, but it doesn't always go that way, and that is true for Australian acts often as well. They'll prove themselves overseas before Australia goes, "Oh, you're big over there."
Then
We've
We've always loved you. We always have.
claim them big time.
Yeah, for sure.
But Aretha Franklin, what a life. That is amazing stuff, Jess.
What a hat! That's what I got out of it mainly.
Yeah. There wasn't enough focus on the hat for my liking.
I'm guessing you're going to do a full report on the hat in future,
Yeah.
Jess?
I felt like I didn't want to burn it here.
Yeah.
And I just sort of felt like there's enough in it for a full report. So, yeah, that's probably what I'll be doing next week is a follow-up.
Awesome.
Aretha Franklin's hat.
Great. Oh, that's fantastic. Can't wait for that.
Wait.
This was a good little sort of prequel episode.
Yeah, it's like a little teaser.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's really hard with a lot of, like, you know, biographies of artists like this, with a career spanning 5 decades, and it's just so hard to capture everything that they do. So,
I mean, 40 albums. How are you ever going to mention those? Come on,
exactly.
you just can't.
And it's also pretty tedious to just be like, and then in 78, this album came out.
Yeah, and just listing what it charted at. You can't list them all.
No. So I hope that gave you a bit of an overview. Like I said, there's an amazing article in the Rolling Stone, which was really, really helpful for putting all this together. So I'll link to that if you want to read a bit more about her as well, because it was amazing.
And check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/JiggleOnPod for my reaction video.
I can't wait. I want to see.
I really hope you cry. I really hope you do.
I want to see the goosebumps.
I'm going in with high expectations.
Yeah. I'm going to insult you a bunch first, just to make you fragile.
Okay.
And then show you something, and then hope that helps.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it'll be a touchdown from me, dog. Well, that brings us to everyone's favourite part of the show, where we get to get some facts and some quotes and some questions. It has a little jingle. It goes like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
He always remembers the ding.
That's why I'm the queen of jingles.
Oh, yeah. I'm the king of the
the
ding.
jingle queen.
But she did
King of the ding.
her over 4 minutes a version of the anthem because she was just doing like vocal improvisation. So I should do that more with the jingle, I think.
Have you seen that? Have you seen the Aretha anthem? I actually haven't, but I'm obviously a great voice, but is it slightly tedious by the end?
I'm sure it would be. I haven't seen it either. Or I think I did ages ago, but I didn't watch it while researching this.
What does it usually go for? A minute and a half? There's a lot. That's a lot of flourishes.
The land of the free.
Do you think we're going to have, like our generation will have those kind of legendary titles down the track? Like Beyonce and Mariah Carey and stuff, like with those big voices. Will they end up being seen like that, or is that's sort of a thing of the past? Where
I don't know.
Yeah, they'll be like Spotify Queen of Pop or something like that.
Yeah. It'll be sponsored by
Pepsi's Queen Bee. Thanks.
You
the
legally
Ford Broncos vocalist of the decade.
You're like, okay.
Anyway, so the way to get involved in the fact, quote, or question section is to get involved on the patreon.com/dogoonpod website. And if you sign up on the Sydney Scheinberg level, it's one of the higher levels, you get to give us a fact, a quote, or a question. There's multiple levels on the Patreon, though, and you can, depending on what you want to pay or support us, you get different rewards on different levels. But those on the fact, quote, or question level, the Sydney Scheinberg level, get to give us a fact, a quote, or a question. Makes sense. Firstly this week, this one comes from Rachel Johnson, who's given herself the title of Executive in Charge of Pipes and Bluebell Gathering. Ooh. Bluebell. Is that a kind of cheese? No, what's bluebell?
Flower.
Or a flower?
I only know
and
that
pipes?
because there's bluebell. You can go gather bluebells in The Sims.
Oh, and pipes? Is it all a Sims
Yeah.
referencing?
Is there plumbing in the Sims?
Well, yeah, they have toilets
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness. I'm sure
and
they
showers
sure they closed the door as well.
and sinks.
Rachel,
The door's
I don't-
just closed behind them. You don't get the option to leave the door open. which is
Disappointing.
annoying. Yeah.
Rachel, I don't fully understand your title, but I'm so glad you're here to fulfill that role. It's been sitting vacant for quite a while. So cheers, Rachel. And Rachel's given us a quote, and her quote is her favourite quote. And this is it. Everybody remember where we parked.
Is it the itchy lot?
No, it's actually taken from Captain James T. Kirk in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, and it is a very practical saying which I use all the time. It's fun to say to people who know it's from Captain Kirk, but it's also fun to say to people who don't realise it's a quote. That's
that.
fun. It's fun either way.
That's funny that he would say that in Star Trek. Absolutely. But often when I'm parking, I'll say, remember, we parked in the itchy lot
Ah, yes.
a lot. So I get it. I get it.
You do say that a lot, Dave. A little too much, mate.
Yeah, I say even when we're not in the car.
We're on a plane and Dave's like, remember where we parked? Like, shut up, Dave. We've just been on a 14-hour flight. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I never stop talking.
And we love you for it. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, that's great. I love that it's such a practical thing that you can bring it up all the time. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rachel. And also love to thank Joe Fleischman, who's given himself the title of the head custodian of making sure all mogwais acquired by the podcast Do Go On are not fed after midnight, exposed to light, or gotten wet. They're the ones that turn into gremlins, right? I mentioned gremlins just before.
You did.
Glad his name is
funny.
Glym. Glym's in it, is that right?
Glyn.
Glym.
Yeah, Glyn Turman?
Turman?
Turman. It's a great name. It's really grown on me, but it doesn't sound like a real name. But I love it. I love it. I love it big time. So Joe has given us a fact, and his fact is, in the game Fallout 3, you take part in a quest where you explore an area occupied entirely by clones of a man named Gary. Oh, you've got my attention.
Okay.
By the time you encounter them, they are all deranged, attacking anyone not named Gary, and communicate only by saying Gary with different inflections. That is a great fact.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Gary.
Gary G from the UK.
Gary.
He'd be fine if he's in there. Gary?
Gary.
Wow.
Gary.
I wish all Garys were like Gary J.
Yeah, I mean, if only. Thank you, Joe, for that great fact.
I had no idea about
Well
that.
done.
Absolutely cool.
And thank you for all your work keeping those mogwais dry and hungry.
You can't put them in the microwave, or do you put them in the microwave to get rid of them?
Gremlins?
Yeah. Wasn't there?
Huh.
Was a gremlin in a microwave?
I've never seen gremlins.
No, I think my brother was watching it, and that's all I remember is I think there was one in a microwave. You can let me know.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
I give you permission to at me about that and that alone.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Joe. The next one comes from Suraj Peiris. He's finally must have been real tedious because I've said Suraj's name a lot on our various podcasts, as he's one of our big supporters.
Have we been saying it wrong?
And he's finally given us a. By the way, it's like penis but with an R. So Peiris. Suraj Peiris. Thank you, Suraj, who's given himself the title of Inspector of Vegemite Shape Imports, East Asia Division.
Oh, love that. Important role.
And Suraj has given us a fact. And his fact is your toe print is unique, like your fingerprint. Not as useful in this post-COVID world. Oh, I guess that makes sense to me. I'd never really thought about it, but toe prints are also unique, much like a fingerprint.
And
Dave.
there's a couple of hundred patrons out there. The first year we sent out Christmas cards, I stamped them all with my toe. Oh dear, they've got it. They've got it on record.
Took so long.
It was, yeah. You did full days of work. And I converted them all into reindeers, didn't I?
Yeah. That was honestly dumb.
That was one of the biggest.
That was dumb how much time we put into that.
That was one of the biggest undertakings of our entire lives.
That took several days.
Yeah, I reckon it was more than several days.
Yeah. That was fucked.
We wrote out 200-300 Christmas cards by hand, wrote a message, did the addresses. I put my toe print on it and then let them dry, and then Matt turned them into reindeers. Oh my God.
It's funny because, normally Christmas is about spending time with family. Not that year. That year it was about us writing postcards and turning toe prints into reindeers.
And it started cute because we all sat around the table and we had some music playing and we're like, yay! And then we realised the size of the task we had taken on.
We naively thought we could knock it off in a few sessions together.
Fucking
but
idiots.
we ended up having to work separately.
Yeah,
I went away for a family Christmas that year and I was literally missing out on dinner. I'd come in for dinner and then I'd have to leave to keep writing. It was such a stressful Christmas.
So if you're wondering why they don't have toe prints on them anymore, it's because we have families.
Please let us see them, please.
Please let us have Christmas with our families.
I don't think anyone's demanded the toe prints. I guess
no one
either
does.
everyone's like, that's a weird thing they all did. No one even cared.
No one wanted them in the first place.
No one cared, but we did it anyway because we're so stupid.
I could not tell you even why we did it. I can't tell you, but we did
don't
it.
know.
I think it was a throwaway line you said on an episode
Yeah.
for some reason.
Sorry,
But
everyone. That was me then. I ruined it. Ruined our Christmas that year.
There'd definitely be a few people out there who would be like, I can't touch this. Toes gross me out. Why did you ruin this perfectly nice postcard? Well, we've got one last fact quote question, and it is a question. So we collected all three once again this week. We did that last week as well. We had a fact, two facts, one quote, and here is a question. It comes from Odie Matthews, who is the CEO of Finally Knowing What a CEO Might Do. It's so good to have you in
Glad
that
someone
role.
knows.
Thank God, we need you.
And Odie's question is, I haven't been able to think of anything. Okay.
It's promising. It's a promising start.
So here's a random question that came to me today. Well, you've contradicted yourself earlier
Yeah,
there, Odie.
you did think of
I haven't been
something.
able to think of anything. So here's something I thought of. Odie's question. What is your favourite fun fact you can remember from a report?
Oh,
You guys and gals are the best. I pluralised gal there, didn't mean to. Thanks for making the weeks of 2020 a little better.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Odie.
Odie. That's very nice. Favourite fun fact?
that's really hard because I just don't retain anything.
Yeah, I have to think of a topic and then go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, all I'm thinking about right now is Aretha Franklin once wore a hat.
Yeah, obviously that's the most fun fact. But apart from that, what else can you remember? Dave, can you remember anything? You have a better memory, I feel, but no press. No press.
Just the whole reason the show basically started, which was me stumbling upon the fact that the Mona Lisa is only famous because some bloke stole it. Before that, no one really gave a shit about it.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like that someone sold the Eiffel Tower twice.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think that's fun.
That is a fun fact. What about Phil Hartman designed the logo for Crosby, Stills?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
cool. That is cool.
That was a good one. Yeah, there's so many. There's so many weird things that come up that are completely unrelated to the topic, but they're just, well, obviously they're a bit related, otherwise they don't come up. But, there's just so many things that you're just like, huh.
What about it's not as well known as you might think that Marie Curie invented penicillin?
Yeah.
There you go.
I assume that was like knowledge that everyone had.
But it's not.
And every time we mention on the show, we'll get people saying she didn't. And it just confirms how much people don't know.
Yeah,
that
I'm just like,
Marie Curie invented
excuse me, have you
penicillin.
listened to that report? We clearly established she invented penicillin.
Yeah, it was very penicillin heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, but I reckon you give me any topic, I'll have a fun fact from it, I reckon.
You reckon?
Or nearly every. There's
The
ones that I
Mothman.
don't remember at all. The Mothman, when he turned into dust on the road, they reckon that
Yeah.
he left behind a little pile of dust. And they're like, what does it mean? But it was probably just some dust on the road. But
Yeah.
they're like, oh, he's left this
He left
pile
some
of
dust.
dust. Proof.
All right, Matt, one more. Julia Child.
Oh, well, something about an incredible snap.
It was a crunch, goddammit.
Crunch. Damn it.
And she was in a film with another Julie or Julia.
What about Julia Child didn't start cooking until her 30s and then became one of the most
Oh,
famous
I love
chefs
that.
in the world? I'm just entered my 30s and I don't know how to cook and I'm planning to become one of the most famous chefs in the world.
Yes, Dave.
I'm a big fan of those sort of things. I'm vaguely embarrassed by that episode. Every now and then I'm like, obviously no one listens to that and goes, drinking too much is cool. It's a pretty good ad for drinking in moderation, which I've done ever since that day. Got a bit out of hand that day. Apologies to anyone who used to think that I was a cool, calm, collected guy.
I was hoping it would
And
more...
listened into that one and went,
Oh,
hang on.
no. I was
Matt's
hoping it
lost
would
it.
more be a lesson for you to always listen to Jess.
Oh, what did you say?
I said, you have plans to drink that day. Why don't we record a different time? And you said, no, it'll be right.
No.
Oh, no, that's not what happened. We had to record that day because you had to cancel the one just before that. And it was the last possible time we had to record before it went out.
Oh, dear.
It was the only option.
Right.
I was like, this isn't a good idea because I will be coming from a day of drinking, but it was the only time left we had. That's how I remember it. But would you trust my memory on this topic?
No.
Possibly not, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. It was a lot of fun.
It was a fun day. I definitely had a couple too many towards the end of the day.
That's
but
okay.
It was fun to learn about that great woman of the chefery industry.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's also now time to thank a few of our other patrons. You normally come with a little game here, Bopper. You had any thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it feels hard because something that we always end up doing is like naming their album,
Oh, yeah.
but I feel like we've done that before.
But we could give them a Queen of Soul type
Oh,
title.
yeah, great. A title. A royal title.
Yes. Doesn't have to be music, I guess. Could be anything.
Could be anything.
All right. Well, if I may, I'd love to kick this off.
Yeah.
And this one's from someone who gives no address, but I think he's Australian, and he goes by the name of Brian Andrews. I love the name Brian. Big fan of the name Brian.
Brian Andrews. Brandrews.
Brandrews.
And Brian is the Lord of Pool
Oh,
He's
we talking
really-
swimming or table?
Table.
Love that.
The Lord of
It's
Pool.
a real table pool shark.
Oh, he's a shark in the pool and on the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. So he's sort of, but if he's a shark, that means that he's good at looking like he's not good until money's on the table.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden he's very good.
Yeah, he hangs around the pool table and then someone says, do you want to play? And he plays pretty shit at first. And then they say, let's make this interesting. And they put some money down and he just absolutely wipes the floor with them.
And then as he's chalking his cue before potting the black, he says, interesting enough for you? And then he looks at them. He doesn't break eye contact with them. And he slots the black without even looking at it.
Yeah.
He's the bad boy.
And then
That's
they go, that's after the full game. Then they go double or nothing. So they do that. And then again, not breaking eye contact, he pockets every ball in the first shot.
This break, he just knocks them all in.
Oh.
He says, had enough?
Yeah.
Hot enough for you.
Brian's a badass. Love that about you, Brian. Thank you so much for your support. I'd also love to thank from Ottawa in Ontario, Canada, Micah Birder. Damn it. Brdar. Birder.
Oh, yeah.
Ba-da.
I'm so sorry, Micah.
Sorry, Micah.
Micah B.
Micah B.
Micah Birder.
Dave, any ideas?
The king of birdhouses.
Oh, he's got a back order on his birdhouses.
They're incredible.
I'm talking a 6-month wait list minimum.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he is in hot demand.
He once built one for an emu, and it was basically a small house.
It was like bigger than my apartment.
The emu is better than you
Ensuite
do.
off the bedroom.
Yeah, that's right. Had a
Special room for their big blue eggs.
Yeah, an egg room.
European laundry.
And his favourite song, Micah's favourite song is, of course, Birdhouse in Your Soul
Yes.
by They Might Be Giants. And he's the king of birdhouses and very good friends with the king of soul, Otis Redding.
Mm.
And together, they are the kings of Birdhouse in Your Soul. Great work, Micah.
Thank you, Micah.
Do we do 3 each of this? Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
You're
Yeah.
goddamn right,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Well, finally for me, I'm the worst pronunciator, and I've got 2 crackers. All right. I'd also love to thank from London in Great Britain, Stephen Sokia Soglo. Sokia Soglow. Fuck, I thought I was going to get
The first one
it, but I'm
sounded pretty
confident.
good.
Yeah.
Stephen Sokia Soglo. Sorry, Stephen. But thank you.
I honestly
Thank
think
you and
Stephen's
sorry.
probably quite used to it at this point. But I'm sorry, Stephen, and thank you. Stephen, of course.
Okay. I'll kick it off with the title, and then you just hit me, Bop. Okay.
Yep.
Hit me with
I'm
what you
clearing
got.
my
all
mind. Clearing my mind.
Okay. So he is the Duke of.
National parks.
Oh, wow. That's quite a portfolio.
That is a beautiful portfolio.
I'm talking
Well done.
all national parks globally.
Oh,
Shit.
That's a huge realm
Yeah.
for his dukedom.
So he is busy like 10 months of the year, various engagements at national parks all over the world. And he's like world famous, pays
As he should
very
be.
well. And people are just like, holy fucking shit, the Duke is coming
Duke.
to our national park. I'm so sorry, I panicked. There's a park across the road and I was looking at the park out the window.
You've got a national park across
Just
the
a
road?
park.
Wow. Do you live near Yosemite?
Yes.
What a great spot. Say hi to Sam for me.
Shall I pick up the mantle here?
Yes, please, go
do.
for it.
I would like to thank from MS. What are we talking? Minnesota here? Is that what we're talking? In the United States of
Ooh,
America.
MS is tricky. It could be Minnesota, it could be Missouri.
It's
it could
Mississippi!
Be Mississippi.
MISSISSIPPI.
And from
Oh, I do it in the rhythm of MISSISSIPPI.
It's all about you, isn't it?
and
You're pathetic.
Dave, what rhythm do you do
You're
it in?
fucking
Dixie?
pathetic.
Dixie
A
rhythm?
Dixie melody?
In a Dixieing melody? Dave, can you do it in a Dixie melody?
MISSISSIPPI.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
think-
I hate
I
it.
never knew what Dixie was until now.
Well, makes sense.
Now just
I,
knows
th-
she
well, I
hates it.
thought I did, but it turns out I did not.
Well, that was from a video game that I played as a child, an educational one, so it wasn't fun.
I think mine was from Alvin and the Chipmunks when they competed in a spelling bee, and that's how they remembered it in
right.
that tune.
And I actually
Sorry, Dave.
I learnt mine from Saucier in Mississippi. Saucier.
Wow.
Joseph Barshop taught me.
So you had not said their name and we were just going on about Mississippi. So sorry, Joseph. Thank you so much.
Who is
Joseph Bar Shop. Jeez, I can't wait to be allowed back into bar shops.
Yeah.
Joseph is the prince of frogs.
Frog Prince.
Yeah, the frog prince.
Wow. What happens if you they sort of kiss him and he turns into a human kind of scenario?
Yeah, that's
or-
right. So you kiss him and he stays a human when you kiss him. It's really weird.
Holy shit.
Super.
So
Just like a frog.
he never takes frog form.
He claims that he was once a frog. And if you kiss him,
He claims you're coming up with this and you've built into this that he's possibly lying.
well, I mean, he tells people he was one. I can't fact check it because I never saw him as a frog. I take him at his word. But if you do kiss him, he will stay a human. That's one of his weird traits.
Wow. And can he control frogs or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. And he's also a frog collector.
A frog
Oh
collector.
wow, he can control them, and he sounds like a psychopath. To be
Yeah.
honest,
I'm a little bit nervous about
has he
this.
just got frogs in jars or something?
No, he collects. I mean, he treats them with absolute respect because he once was a frog. He know.
R.E.S.P.C.T.
He's worried
Okay.
that the other frogs that he keeps are also humans. So just in case,
Oh,
he
and so
treats
he
them.
smooches them.
Oh,
He smooches them every day because he's not sure what day
just in case.
it'll be broken. The charm will be
that's
broken
right.
or whatever. The enchantment.
And-
But also, like, it's always true love's first kiss, so he's got to give the frogs time to fall in love with him.
Yeah, that's right.
To really get to know him and go, oh my God, he's actually great. And then the next time he kisses them, it works.
Yeah. So each day he's like, I'm gonna have to make extra special effort for dinner tonight.
Yeah. You can't always force love. That's what I'm saying.
No.
You know,
You can't hurry love.
you can't hurry love. You just have to wait. Love don't come easy.
It's a game of
Give and take.
Scrabble. Oh.
all right, on to Joseph Barshop. I love frogs, so I think you're doing frogs work there. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank from Downer in the Australian Capital Territory, ACT. It is James O'Rourke.
Jimmy O. The big O.
The big O. Oh, my goodness. All right. What if I do is set you up here, Matt? I'll say something and you bring it home.
Okay. All right. Let me blank my mind. Okay. I'll close my eyes. Let's see where I go.
Here he is. Let me go. James O'Rourke, Lord of...
Flannel.
Oh, love it. It's a very practical material.
Yeah. Did his family invent flannel?
Yeah, I wonder.
Because they'd
Maybe
be
that's
doing
his empire.
very well.
Yeah, he's got a flannel empire.
The Flannelette Empire.
I've just taken the flannel sheets off the bed and I miss them.
Oh, yeah, because it's heating up here.
Yeah, it's quite warm today and bloody, got the cotton sheets on there and I'm like, you're not as snuggly. So,
But
thank
how nice
you,
are they?
James.
Like some crisp sheets on a hot night.
Crisp.
I wouldn't know. I've very rarely got crisp sheets, but it sounds
It
good.
does sound good. It sounds like something a rich person would have.
If your sheets can make a beautiful snap, that is the best. You've probably overstarched.
What kind of thread count we talking?
Oh, 6?
Yeah, that's good.
Wow.
I don't know how many's good, but 6, 7, 8,
8,
10? Is that getting ridiculous?
10 thread count. Oh my God,
I don't know.
you are bougie.
A little bit of a bobo.
Thank you, James. Congratulations on your flannel empire.
Appreciate that, Jimmy O'Rourke. And for me, I would finally like to thank from Richmond here in Victoria, it is Caitlin Hall.
Caitlin Hall from Tigerland.
I would say she is the dame of Domino's.
Oh, pizza or game?
A little of both.
Interesting.
Started with a game. The pizza came in. She said, actually, I'm the dame of Domino's around here. And they said, all right, we bow down to you. Here's a percentage of every franchise.
Wow.
I had Domino's pizza last night, and it used to be like a fun guilty treat.
Yeah.
And I think I've had it too much that it's not that anymore.
It's not as good anymore.
Is it not as good anymore?
Well, I don't know. I've just had the same experience that it used to be like, it was my go-to shit pizza.
Yeah. It's like shit as in it's like a little bit fake tasting or something. But
Yeah. But the
but it's
last couple of
sorta
times
nice.
it's been undercooked. I'm like,
right.
I ordered thin and crispy.
They've lost their way.
Well,
Fucking believe
I mean, really, you got to take that up with Caitlin Hall.
Caitlin Hall, I mean, feel free to send me a pizza and I'm happy to change my opinion. If you are, as you say you are, the god of Domino's pizza.
Well, the dame.
God.
The dame.
Yeah, the god. So
We would have really come home strong if we finished with a god.
well, there's still time because I'm going to thank some people.
Awesome.
I would love to thank from Cunha in Tasmania, Angriest Boy. Which honestly, kind of confusing from your parents. That's a
Yeah, your surname's Boy, don't name him Angriest.
No, I
Could have been
name you
Best.
Sunny.
Sonny, Best Boy, or just, Greg.
Greg
Boy. Yeah, that's the name. Gary Boy? Oh.
Barry Boy.
Gary Boy. I sing Daddy Boy to Gary Boy.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was very
Gary
good.
Boy.
All right, Angriest Boy. Geez, they've set a high standard for him as well. Not
know.
just an angry boy. All right. Angriest Boy is the what's one of the other ones? Where have you got Duke, you got what about Baron?
Baron. Good
Oh,
job,
yeah.
yeah.
Come on, Dave. Baron of
Can I do one?
Oh,
Yes.
Baron of Confetti.
Oh,
Because
that's a good
confetti
one.
is not angry at all.
oh,
So
Every
that's-
time he enters a room.
but it is
confetti cannons go off.
It's angry if used as a weapon, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's weaponized
You don't want
confetti.
a confetti cannon to the face.
Please aim away from face. And Angriest Boy says no.
No. I aim confetti where I want to aim it. So,
Angriest
yeah.
Boy, isn't it funny to have an angriest boy from Tasmania? Such a beautiful island state.
Beautiful place. What are you so angry about? Hey, are you okay? Do you
Or
need
maybe
to talk?
it's not. Maybe it's one of those ironic names.
Maybe he's
like
a real
Bluey.
sweetheart. Maybe it's a she,
Oh,
just really
I mean,
fucking
there's
with
so
you.
many questions.
So many questions, but one thing we don't question is our love for you and our appreciation of your support, Angriest Boy. Thank you very much. Enjoy that confetti. I'd also like to thank from Norwich in Great Britain.
Aha!
I feel like I say this every time. I wonder if they know.
I'd love to thank Georgina Reynolds.
Georgina Reynolds.
Reynolds.
That's a real rock solid name. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that a lot.
good. I
Georgina
love that.
Reynolds. Georgina Reynolds is, of course, the god of light.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's an important one.
Like the sun?
Yeah, all of them. Anything that gives light.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Anything that gives light.
Yep.
So, like me, when I walk into a room.
Yes, she does that. That's Georgina's work.
I thought that was just my presence.
No, she doth it upon you.
Wow, Georgina. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's a big task. Wow. Cool.
But she makes it happen.
Amazing. All right. Well, I've got nothing to add to that. That's
Thank you so much for your support, Georgina Reynolds from Norwich. Aha.
Aha.
And I'd finally love to thank from, is this Japan?
Yes, Pan. Fantastic.
In Nagata, Japan? Melody Cook.
Oh, Dixie Melody. Dixie Melody and Julia Childs Cook. Just a bit of everything there.
She's got it all. Okay, I'll set one of you up. Okay.
What about we do a double?
What does that mean?
Double banger.
No, so Jess says she's the blah blah of, and I'll say something, and Matt says
Okay.
the other thing.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Something that goes to, sorry.
I was like, what do I do? All right. Okay. I've got to think. I'm trying to think of something different. Okay. She's the first lady of.
Aquariums and
And good vibes.
yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I've just looked up Nagata, and in Google it says, what is Nagata famous for? It's located along the coast of the Sea of Japan in the Chubu region. It's famous for its high-quality rice, beautiful coastal and mountainous sceneries, spectacular firework displays in summer, skiing in winter, and hot spring bathing around the year.
Holy
that place
shit.
sounds amazing.
It's got everything.
That sounds like good vibes.
Yeah, big
yeah,
time.
you nailed that with good vibes.
And probably aquariums too, let's be honest. They've got to have some use for aquariums.
For sure. But fireworks displays, I love fireworks. Love them. So fun. Go, ooh.
Exploding stuff.
Love explosions. I love colours.
Bang.
It's really taking confetti cannons to the logical conclusion, isn't it?
Yes. Now, if somehow we could get confetti and fireworks together. Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
We'll be rich.
Boy. Then we'll have some good vibes.
Sounds like a fire hazard, and I love it.
Yeah. Melody Cook, I mean, You've got a lot on your plate looking after both Good Vibes and aquariums, but also it sounds like you live somewhere very nice. So good for you.
Nice one. And thanks to everyone that supports us at patreon.com/DoGoOnPod. You are the lights of our lives.
Yes. And you can, get all sorts of things there, including 3 bonus episodes per month. The whole back catalogue are up there. We must be pushing towards 80 or 90 bonus episodes up there, I reckon. Another thing you get if you are on the shout out level for 3 years in a row, you get to join the Triptych Club. I'm standing at the door. I got the door list there. I'll lift the velvet rope, welcome you in. Jess will hand you a drink, maybe a bit of a, what do you call the food things?
Canapes?
Little canapé. I'll jump behind the bar, shake up a few cocktails. Dave booked a band. Who have we got this week, Dave?
We've got
Who's
the
playing?
Muscle Brothers, whatever they were called before. Muscle Brothers.
Muscle Shoal?
What are they playing? They playing the hits of Aretha Franklin?
And Ray Charles, for a bit of a ride.
Oh,
so they're doing a
great.
full set of Aretha, full set of Ray Charles. They come, have a break, come back, full set of Aretha, full set of Ray Charles. So there's sort of a 2-sitting, you know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
I think this is probably this maybe is the one that's made the most sense so far from the bands you've booked. Well done. And
It's hard to
Jess, what do we?
It's hard to line. I book these guys in advance. I don't know what the topic's
Right.
going to be, except when I'm doing it, of course. So
Yeah.
this was just very, very lucky.
Oh, God,
Well
that is
done.
good. Yeah, drink
Very
this week
fortuitous.
is Aperol Spritz.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
So we are
beautiful
moving
day
into
for a spritz.
Yeah, we're moving into warmer weather here. Time for let's spritz it up.
Hey Jess, can I request something custardy in the food this week? I'd love
Okay.
maybe a little dessert. Can you do dessert canapes?
Yeah, sure. You can do whatever you want.
What about little? I'm not going to make you do this, but of course, my request would be little trifles.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Jess does not look happy with that.
right.
What have you got there, Jess?
Oh, just custard.
Blobs of custard.
Everyone can have a blob.
Eat 'em
All
with
right?
your hand.
Help yourself to a blob.
Well, everyone knows the best part of a trifle is the custard, so this is fantastic.
Help yourself to a little blob on your way.
Yeah, get rid of all that bullshit from the. Just
Who
leave
needs
the blob, the best
soggy
bit.
cake and jelly? Fuck off. Have some custard.
Thank you.
I've got right back into 2 fruits lately. I'm having two fruits on my Vitabrits
Oh
or my
my
oats in the morning.
God.
So good.
I haven't had 2 fruits in easily 20 years.
They're a flashback for me too, and I've been on them all week. So good.
Yum. I need to get me some 2 fruits.
Do you put the juice on as well, or just the little bits?
If a little juice gets out, I'm all
Yeah,
for it.
nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. That was my favourite bit, just drinking that at the end. It's just this syrupy liquor. Oh my God, it's so good.
You can, we've got a few inductees into the Triptych Club this week. Just let me check the guest list here. Who have we got? Firstly, from...
Have you ever had someone try and sneak in that isn't on the guest list? Or are people usually pretty good when they rock up to the velvet rope?
Yeah, I think people are normally pretty good. No one's trying. We actually had one time, I think someone got in and they messaged saying, I'm not sure if I was meant to be.
Love that honesty, but get the fuck
That's
out.
not. Yeah, but you've come forward, so get the fuck out.
So we've got from, let me just check this. I had this all set up and I've lost myself. What is the date? What's going on? Who am I? Oh, I see what I've done. Okay.
You are Lisa Simpson.
I've confused myself. From Newaygo in MI, Dave, which has got to be Minnesota. No, it's got to be Missouri.
Or Michigan.
Michigan. It's Michigan, I reckon. Dave, you look it up while I check. Oh, and Dave will hype you up on the way through. That's his other role.
yeah.
He's our hype man.
It's
As you
difficult when I'm
come in.
bloody Googling at the same time. It is Michigan!
Google
It's Michigan!
Michigan.
All right. So from Newaygo in Michigan, Scott Lanning.
Scott Lanning, it's great to see you again. And because I was in Michigan, you... all right.
From Stevenage in England, Great Britain, it's Olivia Gatliff.
Oh, Great Britain, great Gatliff.
From South Yarra in Victoria, Australia, it's Amy Gibbs, the doctor.
Oh, you gives me good vibes when you come into our party.
And finally, from Woodley in Greater Manchester, Great Britain, it's Nicole Carr.
Would you like to come into our club and make our lives even better?
It's beautiful.
What do we think? Pretty good?
I don't know if I fully get that last one.
She's from Woodley.
Okay. Yep.
What's to get?
Maybe I didn't hear what you said, but I thought you'd make our lives even better.
I said, would you like to come into our party and make our lives even better? On the way in.
When you said "would you," that was a reference to would.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's obvious now that you've said it.
Thank you so much.
I mean, her surname was Carr. You couldn't have done anything with Carr.
He couldn't do anything with Scott Lanning.
I did.
Coming in for landing.
I mean,
Dave.
thank you.
We know you said last week this is stressful for you now, and we said, hey, just have some fun with it. You can't go wrong. And then this week we shat all over you, and that is unfair
we realised
of us.
You can go wrong.
No,
sorry.
Matthew, that's unfair of us.
It genuinely is stressful now.
I know, and you did your best.
I did it the first week just like uninvited, unsolicited, just for fun, and now it's become a thing that I
dread.
I can't sleep at night now.
Yeah. But we're not going to stop it. So you need to find a way to sleep, and we need to find a way to just laugh at your terrible
Yes.
jokes.
Would you like to come in and make our great party? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Gives me
The post.
would have been good if we stopped at gives me good vibes, but anyway.
That was a really good one.
Thank you.
The one from Fortnite, that's not that bad.
Let's bring this bad boy home.
Yeah, I think we've almost gone for an hour after the report this week, which is amazing work.
A new record. Yeah, we're good. We're bloody good.
So if anyone wants to get involved, please jump on the social media. Do go on pod on all of the social medias. Get on Jess Perkins's Instagram in particular. She's pushing for 10K.
How far off are we? How far off?
Let's do a live check. I mean, I'm assuming by the time people listen, it'll be heaps more, but we're currently at 9,125.
That's great, 91%.
Making great progress.
When I started this campaign, I had 8,748. So it turns out all you need to do is just be quite desperate and ask people outright to follow you.
All those people who do follow Jess and not me, come on, throw another dog a bone. You're allowed to follow more than one.
Of course you
Matt
can.
Stewart Comedy on Instagram, MattStew_art on Twitter, and Matt Stewart Comedy on Facebook. I also provide some content on there. Maybe it's not up to Jess's level, but it's something.
It's something. That's what it is, something.
And Dave, where are you? You got the Piestagram
Yeah,
going.
check out me eating pies on there. I've just hit. I reckon there's like a bit of a flow-on effect from you, Jess. I've just hit 5,000. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome,
Nailing
Toots.
it. And if you want to check out our other podcast, Dave does a great book podcast. It's about the classic novels. It's called Book Cheap.
That's right. This week's
one comes out every fortnight.
This week's episode that just came out yesterday is The Time Machine, H.G. Wells' sci-fi classic. Did you know that he coined the term time machine for that book?
Wow, I did not know
That's
that.
a fun fact for you.
That is
Really?
a fun fact.
Yeah, and I was joined by Joel Zammett and Jackson Bailey from the Sans Pants crew, and a lot of fun.
Great.
Two very good boys. And the other ones were Primates. We put out a few episodes. We're doing 2 a week at the moment to finish off season 1 of the Umbrella Academy. So there'll be 10 recap episodes of that, me and Evan going through it. It's been a real fun time rewatching those. I can't remember how it finishes. Can't wait to watch the finale. And then we're probably going to do season 2 now. And for Listen Now, we've been going through classic 80s albums as voted by the listeners. And the most recent one was about Dire Straits. But they've really jumped around all sorts of different genres. It's been very interesting. And the one coming up is one of Dave's all-time favourites. He's going to record a little review that we're going to put in there too. So check that out. That'll be coming out at the this weekend.
Awesome.
But that's probably all we need to tell you. I guess be good to each other. Hope you're having a nice time in these tough times. And yeah, get in contact about anything you like if you want to.
Yeah, all the links to everything, social media-wise, email-wise, and our other podcasts, all that sort of stuff is at dogoonpod.com. But until next week, we'll say thank you so much for joining us and listening. And until next week, I'll say goodbye.
Later.
Bye. is going to go for 5 minutes.
And the land of the free. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
I mean, if you want. It's up to you.